opera singer. She's done the national anthem for the Marlins, the Heat. I think she's working on the Dolphins. She's designed a line of attire for the Heat, the Marlins, the Miami Hurricanes. Like it's
Wow.
spiraled out of control, but that's not how she started. Like this is a self-made woman, and I'm a self-made woman, and I love like my powerful women, and my tribe is my vibe. And so Radmila, when I met her, I actually met her in the flagship lounge because she was hanging out with Kamal when really I didn't know that Kamal was actually hanging out with her. And Kamal is the owner of Haute Living, and she was wearing this fantastic Heat dress and that looked like mine. And I was like overjoyed and stunned. And literally 3 months later, she presented me one as a gift. She wouldn't
That's
even let me
awesome.
pay her for it. Like she was like, "Here you go." And she it was so cool. But Radmila, please, if you could share with our listeners how you started in Moscow, where your beginnings were from, because really, I think you are one of the most mentally healthy and strong women I know, considering where you came from and how you got your beginnings. So I'd love for you to share.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so I think I do believe growing up didn't have much. And it was my mother and I. And I do believe the love that my mom gave me really drove me to where I am today. By that said, is when you have somebody who really believes in you, close to you, and kind of course, she was navigating me, not just giving me empty promises, you can do it, but also give me a foundation with for certain things, but believing that you can do anything in this world, just like you just have to get started. I think it's so important. Just like when people say, well, why would you think you can now win Academy Awards? But I'm like, well, if the people that won Academy Awards did not believe they're going to win, they would not win. They would never have won. So you have to go for it, and you have to put everything on the line. So if some things doesn't work out, you did everything. You put everything into it, because the worst thing you can do is quit. And I'm not, look, my life changed and evolved to a completely different space that I never thought I would be in the sports world. My life was in being in the classical world or fashion design, one-of-a-kind pieces. But you evolve as your journey evolves. Obviously, I'm a very spiritual person. My faith drives me throughout my life. And I'm still learning about faith, even day by day. It's endless. And what I find about myself and really being spiritual in the past, I would say 10 years, and really trusting the journey, because, as a woman, you think, okay, you're 25. What are you doing with your life? I'm 38. But, it's like some things I didn't have, but I thought I should have. And I think we all sometimes might feel that way, but then it's not your journey. You just have to keep working. Everybody's journey is completely different. Never compare yourself to anyone. And look, it's just funny how my life was like. I started modeling when I was very young, and I never liked the industry the way I was treated. And, obviously when you're super young, 15 years old, you're hearing those things about yourself. You really don't know who you are yet as a person. So it can really break, some people can break. And, I was more staying away from that, and pursuing more studying and music and classical world. But again, I didn't really fit in the classical world either, because I wanted to do music with hip hop and opera, and I wanted to do Cirque du Soleil style and cinematic music. And so I could never really fit in. But in a way, you have to embrace, if you can't fit in, that's actually kind of, I think, is cool. And you should embrace who you are. And so when the modeling agency would tell me, oh, you're too tall, you're too short, I don't know, too skinny, too big, and oh, your hair is different in color, that we don't look. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to be on the cover of magazine for my own stuff. And I guess I am. So, and hey, they don't want me to put me in a designer clothes. Well, I guess I'm going to design my own clothes.
That's great.
Wow. Literally designing her own clothes, literally singing her own track, literally like designing her own makeup. Like the creations are so impressive, and your resilience is like even over the top when it comes to that. Like, I tell them how you like literally sat courtside and learned basketball. Like the woman knows so much about basketball now, but she knew zero about basketball when she sat at her first game. And she's only been sitting courtside now for 4 years. Yes?
6 season.
6 seasons. Sorry, my bad. 6.
No, yeah, I'm very honest about it. we moved here from New York, and in New York, I knew zero. I mean, I did not get into sports world at all, and I was very involved with the fashion world and classical world, music wise, and I would love to go to concerts, different symphonies, but I never went to, I think I went to maybe 2 basketball games in my life. And I was like, what am I doing here? And that was in the box. It was different experience anyhow. And so when we moved here, my partner was saying, let's get Miami Heat tickets. And I was like, why would I go to a basketball game? Like, do I look like I'm going to go to a basketball game? And
You still don't, by the way. You still don't look like you're going to a basketball game.
And then he was like, when you're in Miami, Miami Heat is part of the culture. Obviously, Knicks is huge part of the culture of New York, but New York still has more things, I feel like. And, we can really learn the Miami kind of scene. And I was like, okay. So he's friends with Shane Battier, and Shane worked with the Heat. So he called him and said, hey, do you have any courtside tickets? And she's like, oh my God, you wouldn't believe. We just got 4 courtside tickets. Somebody had it for 15 years or something like that. And they moved away to California. And today is the day they're available. You want to look at it. And then I was like, hey, you want to go look at it? I was like, of course they're available, because who wants those tickets? Nobody wants those tickets.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, I would die for those tickets.
He showed how ignorant I was. I mean, I'm very straightforward. Like, I know when I know some things, I know, but I don't, and I'm good to say that. So I was like, yeah, nobody wants those, and he's like, trust me, everybody wants it. So when we went, and I had no idea that he knows so much about basketball, because we never talked about basketball, and so I learned so much about my partner in the past 6 years. Anyway, so we go in, and then we met, actually, she's my dear friend, Anna now. And I met Anna, and she was showing the tickets. And I was like, okay, I guess I could. I mean, And then she goes, but your tickets come with the concerts. I was like, oh, okay, let's take them then. Because I thought I would be going to all the concerts, not any games. And it's funny because I don't go to any concerts now. I only go to the games.
That's funny.
And so, and then we got them, and I was like, well, I'm not going to be dressing, I'm going to be dressing the way I dress. And he goes, yeah, do your thing. And I remember I went to the first preseason game, and I was like, oh, because, I'm a performer, and I love the energy of the fans and all that, like, togetherness. And you don't really get that in the classical concert. So I was like, oh my God, I'm falling in love with the energy. And how can I bring this energy to the world I am at that moment? And that's when my brain starts spinning about combining my music or what I'm doing with this culture. And that just was at the beginning. Of course, I did not know how to connect those two worlds yet, but I just fell in love with the game. And obviously I had no idea what's happening on the board. And I just, I can follow the score. And so, but from there, just talking to other people and obviously being there and just observing, you just become part of it, and then start understanding the rules. And obviously I can't talk about like the certain names of the plays and things like that, but I probably can tell you what's going to happen in the game and what the player is going to do. And I'm not that knowledgeable when it comes to like the exact names, like I said, but I do know the outcome of the game probably. And so when I talked to John, my partner, and he would explain to me certain things, I was like, oh, okay. Like I remember first thing he told me in the first game we went in, he goes, well, he's a scorer, not so much of a shooter. I was like, what's the difference? And then now, of course, I understand what that means.
Right.
And so before I was like, well, scorer, shooter, you're shooting, you score, in my head. But
That's funny.
To the game.
Yeah, her advancement in the game, like his far surpassed mine. And I sit on the other side of the court from her. And I'm like, when I talk to her now about basketball, I feel like I'm talking to one of the boys. And I'm just at her like, wow, you really spent some time on this to make sure you knew what was happening. She'd be like, yeah, didn't you know so-and-so got traded and this one got drafted and then that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, I didn't know. I only watch it when I go to the game. I eat popcorn, I drink the drinks, and then I go, it's over.
That's funny. Would basketball the first sport that you were into? I mean, even growing up as a child, you didn't watch soccer or, any of that? Basketball was the first sport?
I would say I did watch a lot of tennis, and especially tennis early 2000s. And
did you play tennis?
No, I never played. Unfortunately, my mom never put me into any sports. She was afraid something gonna happen to me, and also I have to do like tennis lessons and stuff like that. So
Right.
we couldn't afford something like that. And yeah, because in Russia it was very big gymnastics, tennis for women, and for boys it was soccer and like hockey and things like that. But yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get the chance to play. But every time it's for a reason. It's okay.
Right.
So I did watch soccer for a little bit because I was dating a soccer player back in the day, and so that was the